We run a number of programs which are all aimed at raising standards of professionalism for the cyber and information security profession. So that means that we work with individuals to help them with their careers, and we do that through accreditation programs so that we can recognise their skills and competency, and that we do that by other members doing peer reviews on them, and so that if they gain status of a full member or an associate member or even a fellow of the IISP, that the industry knows that they've been reviewed by their peers, and that they can actually do the roles that they say that they can do. We work with organisations to help them develop capability within their organisation. As you probably know, there's quite a skill shortage at the moment, so everybody's chasing the small number of security professionals that we've got out there. So we work with organisations to help them to build and develop capability within their organisations, and that involves sort of looking at talent that they can bring in, programs that can help them to develop people, and again to get recognition for their skills. So we've developed something called the Skills Framework, which looks at all of the different skills that there are across the whole of the profession. We've developed a knowledge framework which identifies the sort of types of knowledge that we expect people to have. We've got accreditation frameworks so that we know that we've got a way of benchmarking people. We're developing a roles framework so that we can say what is actually involved in each of the different roles that are out there, and lots more. In addition to that, helping individuals and for helping organisations, we also work with academia, and we have an academic partner programme, so we're helping people that are new to the profession, that are starting out in universities. So we do things like career days for them so that they can understand about the types of careers that are available. We work with training organisations, accrediting training, because there's a lot of training out there. We review the training materials for an organisation, align it with our skills framework, and make sure that it does what it says it should do, and that it's of a high quality. In addition to that, we try and work with all of the different bodies that are out there to raise standards of professionalism. We've got a small secretariat of about 6 people doing this, but they are supported by our wonderful volunteers, basically. Is that we've got some fantastic members that help to share their knowledge and expertise, and that they help us with our programs. They help us develop the frameworks, because really what we're trying to do is to harness the knowledge that is out there and the experience that's out there so that we can feed that back into the profession and hence raise the standards of professionalism. I think the biggest challenge is that there's so much to do, that there are lots of wonderful programs that are being started by different groups of people. But the thing is that there is a shortage of people that can deal with the challenges that we face. And we need to look at how we should attack the problem more effectively. That you've got security professionals that can advise, but what we need to do is we need to make sure that people that are in aligned professions understand where they need to build security into their particular lines of work. So if you take lawyers, you take engineers, there are all aspects that need security, and that we need to do an awful lot of education to help people to solve some of the problems before they become an issue. We need to get more people into the profession from different areas. It's not just technical people. That everybody talks about a technical skills shortage, but it's just a general skills shortage. Is that you need to have people that can advise on risk, that can advise on best practice, that are able to audit things and identify where things are going wrong, as well as the very technical people that are able to do the ethical hacking or the architecture and all of those sides. So we need to do really a multi-pronged approach to dealing with what's a very, very big problem, and that's everything from looking at getting school kids involved and understanding cybersecurity to taking people already in the workplace and actually cross-training them so that they can help deal with the problem. It's a very difficult problem to be on top of because it's constantly changing. So when I started doing security, you had standalone PCs, and then there were networks, and then there were mainframe computers. Now you've got Internet of Things and all the control systems and all of the phones and everything that's out there. So there's more threats and there's more surfaces to protect. So you're always playing catch up, and people talk about things like artificial intelligence. Well, if the good guys are going to use it, the bad guys are going to use it as well. So it's something that you're never going to solve completely, but you just need to try and stay ahead of the game, or not even ahead of the game, with the game, to deal with all of the issues that are out there. It's always going to be a challenge. But that is the wonderful thing about this profession, is that you'll never be bored, is that it just changes so much. And when I started doing it many years ago, my biggest problem was to try and sort out a virus protection problem in an organization. And I thought, oh, well, I'll do this for a bit and then I'll do something else. But every time I thought, well, maybe I should do something else, something really interesting came along. And I thought, well, I'll do that. And that's interesting. And then I'll maybe do something else. But I never wanted to move away from it. So the challenge is scary sometimes. But then on the other hand, the challenge is fantastic because there's always so much to do. And me being me, I've always enjoyed it because you get to play with the new things very often, because my specialism is really sort of risk management. So people would sort of say to me, well, we want to do this. What could possibly go wrong? And you'd have to say, well, how long have you got? All of these things could happen to you, and that you need to think about how you're going to work with that, whether you really want to do this, and if there's good commercial reason for doing it, well, let's make it as safe as we can. But you need to understand that we can't get rid of all the risks. But you're always seeing new things. Working with the business is something I always love doing, and just sort of seeing how you can make things different and make a difference, really.